So in the last video, I showed you how to query data using MediatR and implemented request handler and response. Now let's create a movie. This should be easy because now you understand everything about MediatR and how it works. So let's create a movie, and it's going to be a command just like before. Let's create a class and call it request public class. I also need a class for a result, or let's call it response, and also I need a class called handler. So my request has iRequest interface, and let's return the response. And so it doesn't matter what properties you have, you can set them later. Now I need to set the request handler, and I have a request and I have a response, and I need to implement this interface. So that's it. We have our create command. I can add create command or index query here. That would be better, and just to specify what we are actually doing. So let's add a create command, change it to create command, and let's change this one to index query, because we might have a couple of queries. Index query is the default query and that we are going to use. Let's change this one to index query and rename all the classes related, and let's F6 to build a project and make sure everything is working. So it's good for now. Let's go to our create page. Here you no longer need to inject DB context, and save changing here is not needed. So here let's inject our MediatR again. Private read only iMediator, and let's name it MediatR, and let's generate the constructor. So in here I want to send a command using MediatR. I want to send a command to create a new create command and request, and here I want to send a movie. So in my request I need to have a property called from type movie called movie, and that's what we need to do in here. So I get the movie from client and send it as a command request to MediatR, and that's it. We don't actually need anything in return. And but if you want to have something like the newly created movie ID, then I can do it like this. But now I need to have a property in here called int ID, and that is what we are going to send back in return, and I actually need to use async and task2. And when I do this, yeah, I have the ID. I can work different ways with ID. I can show it in the view data. I can return it back into my API. But anyway, if you need something like this, we can implement it using this command. So let's go to our create command here, and I can copy and paste from my index query this part. I'm just injecting the DB context, and it's the same class with the same name, so I can copy and paste. I can add using, and here let's add DB add, and let's add request movie, and DB save change async because we love async, and let's also add async here, and that's what we want. Let's add model here and return new response, and the ID equals to model.entity.id, and that's it. That's all we need to do to create our create command. So let's save everything and let's run the project again. So I wanted to show you the ID of the response, and that's what I did here. I added a variable called response, and I set it to my temp data. And in my index page, I check if the temp data is not null, and if that's so, I show the ID to the user. So I have the project running again, and let's go to create new and add the dark night. I think it looks better with capitals, and I don't know what's the year. Let's go with 2005, and you can see that movie created with ID 7, and that's what we get here. So if you want to return a response, that's all you need to do. Let's go to our command, create command. I can add many properties here, and the only part that has to change is this this area here. My commands are very specific. This create command just creates a movie, and it is one responsibility. So MediatR makes creating this type of decoupling very easy. You have request handler, and you have the response, and the only part you have to change is actually in this file. And I guess it's a very good pattern to use in most projects. So in the next video, I want to talk about behaviors, and behaviors are actually like action filters in ASP.NET Core. You can implement them and run them before or after different handlers, and it could become complicated, but it is very useful to do cross-cutting concerns. You want to log something or check the validation of your model. It is actually where you need to implement the codes and take care of. So, thanks for watching this video. In the next, we will talk more about MediatR and how it works.